Welcome to Retro Crisis. My FBNeo ROM set consists of around just over 7,000 ROM files, but the problem here is only about 2,000 or so of these files are actual games. The other 5,000 files are clones, regional variants, and revisions, amongst other things. Now the problem is, I'm not too interested in those files, I just want to keep the main parent ROM file. Let me show you a quick example. If I scroll down to Street Fighter 3, here you can see I've highlighted about 21 files. These are all Street Fighter 3 ROMs. Now anybody that knows about Street Fighter 3 knows there are actually 3 Street Fighter 3 games. So in theory, all I want to do is keep those 3 games, rather than the 21 files that have been highlighted. So rather than manually going in and deleting the 19 or so unwanted files, I found a way where I can automate the entire process, which will clear up this entire ROM set of 7,000 or so games and trim it down to just over 2,000. Before continuing, just so you have a better understanding of this process, please do check out my video on ROM Center. I highly recommend it as it's essential viewing, especially so you can get a better understanding of this process. I'll leave a link to that video in the comments section. Once you've watched that video, come back to this and we can continue. So I'll assume you've now watched the video on ROM Center. The next tool we need to download is FBNeo. Firstly, go to github.com/FBNeo and then go to repositories, FBNeo, and then scroll down to work in progress builds, click on official releases, scroll down to latest because that's the latest version, and scroll down a little further until you get to assets. And then assuming you're using Windows, you're going to want to download FBNeo.zip, or if you're using Mac, you can download the .dmg. Once you've downloaded it, unzip the file. Once it's unzipped, you'll have something that looks similar to this. Find the FBNeo64.exe file and open it. When you open it for the first time, just press OK to this message, and then tick the little box here and press OK. And then just wait. Okay, once FBNeo has loaded up, we want to go to Game and Load Game. And then you'll see this little pop-up appear, and basically you need to click Browse and navigate to the folder where all of your FBNeo ROMs are kept. And then press OK and wait for the scanning ROMs process to complete. Great, once that's done, simply click Cancel on this window, and then go up to the toolbar, hit MISC, go to Generate DAT file, and then generate DAT arcade only, and then save the DAT file to a location of your choice. Once you've saved the DAT file, simply close FBNeo and load up ROM Center. As I said earlier, I'm going under the assumption that you've watched my ROM Center video and that you understand this process. Step 1, go to New, and then click on Get Data From. Then once you click that, you need to navigate to wherever you stored your DAT file and then select the DAT file. And then once you've opened the DAT file, you'll notice that the second file path would have automatically populated itself. And then go to Filter Settings. Okay, make sure Games Filtering is ticked. Under Games Filter, select All. Under Type, untick Clones and Samples. Under Status, I generally just leave it to No Dumps and Good. And then go to Regions. Click on Regions, make sure 1 game, 1 ROM, 1G, 1R is ticked. And now, you'll notice on the right hand side we have a number of regions, and on the left hand side it's absolutely empty. So what you can do here is select whichever regions you're interested in, and simply drag and drop them to the left hand side. For this video, I'm going to choose all of the regions. Once you've selected your regions, you can then reorder these in terms of which ones you want to prioritize. So for example, I want to prioritize World, and then US, and EU, and then Japan, and I'll move none down here. Feel free to choose whichever order you want. And then once you're happy with the ordering, press OK. And then click on Advanced Settings. Here I'm going to leave it as Split, and the last one will just be left as Merged. And then go to Fix Options. So this box is quite important. We can decide what happens to any discarded ROM files. So either we can leave it as Do Not Touch, and the ROM files will stay where they are, but that will kind of render the entire process pointless, or you can choose to delete them, or you can move them temporarily to a folder of your choosing. I'm just going to leave it as delete as I want to get rid of those ROM files. But if this is the first time you're doing this process, I recommend you click Move To and make a temporary folder. And once you've selected your choice, press OK. And finally, hit Create Database. So once the database has been created, you'll see this screen, and next to the name of each ROM you'll notice loads of red indicators. The red indicators basically mean that the ROM file cannot be located. So now we just need to point ROM Center to wherever your ROM files are stored. So in order to add the ROM files, we go to this ROM files area here, right click on it and go to add, and then add the folder that contains all of your ROM files. This process takes a little while, so just be patient. Once that's done, you'll notice that all the colored indicators next to the ROM files have changed. Anything green means it's a parent ROM, anything yellow means it's an incomplete ROM, anything gray will be deleted. So out of the 7,000 ROMs, we can now see that around 2,000 or so of them have turned green. So hopefully this means that all the parent ROM files have been identified. So just as a test, I'm going to click on this search bar and type in SFIII, and this will pull up all the Street Fighter 3 ROMs. You can now see there's about 21 or 22 files here, and 3 of them should be green. So it looks like it's identified all 3 of the main parent ROMs of the Street Fighter 3 games. So I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to right click on ROM files and then click on Fix Items. Now this process takes a long time, so you might want to go and make yourself a drink. Now that process has completed, let's go back to the ROM folder I showed you earlier. And yes, I can now confirm there are around just over 2,000 files in this folder. And as a test, let's go back to Street Fighter 3. And yes, there are 3 files. 1, 2, and 3. So far so good. Now the ultimate test. Let's try one of these games and see if they actually work. If you know of a better way or a different way of doing this, please drop it in the comment section. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please do like, share and subscribe.